Hello, my name is Jamie Cochran. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I am entering Festival Region 1 DTM for stage management. Last semester, I stage managed An Enemy of the People at my institution, and I have a binder for you all that outlines my process and outcomes. So just going through a few things in the binder, you'll see that every section is labeled, from blocking scripts to rehearsal reports to schedules, all the way to data analysis. And I've sort of followed the guidelines from the website with adding a couple of my own documents that we had during our production. So in there, a couple things to highlight. In my rehearsal reports, something that I took upon myself to do was to take pictures during rehearsal of when we had specific people in certain places, specific movements that we had choreographed so that actors, directors could remember where they were. Our rehearsal space is different from our performance space, so even after we taped out where the set was going to be, it was still a challenge to have actors remember where they're going, see themselves in the space. So taking those pictures and actually labeling electronically on the pictures where people were destined to go, what objects were supposed to be where, made it a nice reference for actors when tech came along. Sort of adding to this, in tech reports, I would take pictures of the setup for before each act. And this was because my stagehands had not been present in rehearsals, so they were able to see what set pieces moved where, even when actors are passing by constantly. So I would take pictures and label those. And that also went to the production team too for sending out the reports. And I found that really useful because our set designer, who was only available virtually for most of our process, was able to pick out things that he liked or didn't like that we were doing. And the same goes for lighting and sound design. They could sort of see what was happening in the space as we were preparing for production season. Another piece that I just dove right into that I loved was my data analysis section. You'll find that at the end of the binder. So I'm a physics major, I do a lot of coding, and I thought, why not take sort of the timestamps for whenever we decided to do an act full out in rehearsal or in tech, and record the timestamps, record the condition, whether it's a show or a rehearsal, what attempt number, and all these different points for that statistic, and then manipulate them in Python to see sort of where the show is going. So you'll see in the back there is code written, if you're interested in that, but there's also the graphs behind it, which show sort of trend lines of like act versus how much time it took us, what attempt of the act versus how much time it took us, and you'll sort of see an interesting trend line where in rehearsal acts come down and then we sort of settle into show production. And that's just the first piece of the data analysis. There are others that talk about efficient use of rehearsal time through timestamps, and I can't wait to take you through all of that because it's something that I really wanted to bring from my specific field of study and show that we can use our statistics from the last show to make our practices in future shows more sustainable, more efficient. Thank you all for listening, and I can't wait to have a response with you.